Good morning, lovelies. Welcome to another episode of Sundays with Sam. Glad to have you here with me today. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and also invite your family and friends to subscribe as well. Well, today we're going to be talking about procrastination. So I thought about the lesson that we had last week talking about being bound and God had freed us, and my thought was I was going to come back today to just see how many still have not done anything, although we learned that we were freed from all of the tanglements we were in, the ones if we felt like we were root bound and we were immobile and just couldn't do anything, and we were free to just go out there and grow and bloom in the garden that God had prepared for us. And I was going to come ask you, well, what's going on? Why haven't you still done anything? I know it was last week, but you could have done something already. So, but God told me, well, I'm asking you the same thing. I thought, oh, well, I don't know if I want to talk about that there. So I thought, okay, God, you got a sense of humor. I'm gonna ask them what's their problem. You asking me, well, what's going on with you? Okay, so I get it. All right. So we're gonna talk about procrastination, because that's something that just kind of hangs on. Sometime you do good for a while, and then you get back in that rut of procrastination. So we're just going to talk about it for a little bit this morning, okay? So spiritual procrastination is putting off the known commands of the Lord to a not promised future. Think about that. You know that God has asked you to do something, and you just keep putting it off for a future that you don't even really know about. Of course, everybody thinks that you're going to be here for X amount of time, but we really don't know. And we do, not that we're planning on going anywhere anytime soon. So Proverbs 27:1 says, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. Procrastination is a form of disobedience. God has given us talents, He's given us gifts, and He expects us to use those talents and gifts. And He doesn't want us to waste those talents and gifts. And there is someone out there who you can help with your talents and gifts. You're the solution to their problem. But if you don't ever do what you need to do, then they still just wandering around with that same problem waiting on you. And I didn't know that there was a such thing as a procrastination research group, but it is. And they did some studies on folks, and 94% reported procrastination has a negative effect on their happiness. And that's not something that we want. We don't want to have a negative effect on our happiness. And it can also lead to feelings of anxiety, feelings of stress, because when you procrastinate on something, it is like a dark cloud hanging over you, because you know you got to do it. You keep thinking about you got to do it, but then you don't do it. You keep putting it off and putting it off. And, I can see how that can be a form of stress, because when you finally get it done, it's like, whew, woosah, I'm done. I got it done. I should have done this a long time ago. So, I can understand that, how it can affect you. So, basically, I want to just kind of go over a few quotes on the dangers of procrastination, and then some things that we can do about it. So, on the dangers, it's the job that's never started that takes the longest to finish. Someday is not a day of the week. Now, it ends in day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but someday is not a day of the week. So that's not on your calendar. So you don't need to keep saying someday or even one day. Those days are not on your calendar. So we got to make sure we put it on a day on the calendar that really exists. A year from now, you'll wish that you had actually started today. Because, even if we don't do something, we're still going to have to go through those days. We're still going to have to go through those weeks. We're still going to have to go through those months. So you might as well go ahead and do it now. Just go ahead and get it done. You may delay, but time will not. Time waits for no man. I'm sure you've heard that saying, that time waits for no man. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. It's still going to be there. If you don't do it today, it's still going to be there. You still going to have to do it tomorrow. Whatever you want to do it now. There are only so many tomorrows. So like Nike, just do it. Just do it. And how soon, not now, becomes never. Think about that. How many things have you put off and said, okay, well, I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do it whenever. I think about Scarlett O'Hara in Gone with the Wind. And then she would always say, we'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. So how many times has not now turned into never? It could have been something that you needed to do yourself, some project you were working on. Even thinking about like stuff going on in your house, if it was something you were going to repair or something that you were going to do whatever, and you would be like, okay, I'm not going to do it now, I'll do it whenever. And then you go back 3-4 years later and look at it, you know what, I never did do that. It just never did get done because you kept putting it off saying, not now. So just think about that. How many not nows have you had that turned into never? Okay, so some things we can do to stop procrastinating. In a moment of decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing to do. The worst thing you can do is nothing. Which goes back to what I just said, how now becomes never. That's the worst thing you can do, is nothing. One of the best escapes from the prison of procrastination is to take even a small step towards your goal. And even if you don't get finished what it is you're working on, if you just take a small step and do it for 5 minutes, you've actually started working on it, and you're not in that space where you're just not doing nothing. And then sometimes once you go ahead and just take that first step and start doing it, then you'll go ahead and say, okay, I can do this. I can do this. It's not as bad as I thought. Because sometimes, that's our issue. We just, hype ourselves up to just think, oh, this is just going to be horrible. And then you find out it's really not that bad. You could have done it a long time ago. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. You got to put that action part in there, though. We can't just be dreaming and planning and not putting the action piece to it. And let's see. If you procrastinate when faced with a big problem, break the problem into parts and handle one part at a time. You've heard that saying, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? Because sometimes it is something really huge that you have to get done. But if you just break it into sections or into little pieces, then it's a lot easier to actually get that thing done, whatever it may be. Sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is to just show up. And show up for yourself, however that is. Just show up. Just make that step to do it. And as I end this lesson, you think about, well, why am I not doing it? Why am I procrastinating? Are you just feeling like well, I just can't do that. It's just too hard. I can't do it. And you just keep putting it off and putting it off. But Luke 1:37 tells us, for with God, nothing shall be impossible. So just remember, put God first, just turn it over to God and just ask Him to help you. Ask Him to give you the grace to do whatever it is you have to do. And know that with Him right there beside you, nothing is impossible. You can do it. You can do it. All right, so we're going to end with being able to do it. Right? So say this with me. I am one and only one. I can't do all things, but I can do some things. That I can do, I ought to do. And by the grace of God, I will do it. Okay? So we're going to stop procrastinating, me included. Go out and have yourselves an amazingly awesome week, and I will see you back here next Sunday.